Welcome all to my talk. All cops are broadcasting, Tetra under scrutiny. We're very excited here to present this research finally after more than a year and a half of disclosure embargo. This thing doesn't seem to work. Huh? I don't care. Okay, my name is Carlo Meijer, and these are my colleagues Wouter Bokslag and Wetzels. Together we form Midnight Blue, a specialist security company from the Netherlands. We mainly focus on critical infrastructure and embedded systems. In the past we've found several vulnerabilities reaching from car immobilizers, the BlackBerry QNX operating system, and Meijer classic RFID systems. Since I'm the last one presenting today, and you guys are probably already a bit tired, so let's get some attention from you guys by starting off with a demo. Hope this works.
Hi, we're Midnight Blue, a specialist security consultancy firm. In this video, we're going to demonstrate a proof of concept attack from the Tetra burst vulnerabilities recently uncovered by our team. Terrestrial Trunked Radio, or Tetra, is a radio communication standard used globally by law enforcement, emergency services, military operators, private security, and harbor and airport personnel. In addition, Tetra is used in a wide area network carrying capacity for SCADA telecontrol of oil and gas pipelines, electrical substations, water management, and even railway signaling. Tetra offers confidential communication guaranteed through its so-called air interface encryption feature. This feature encrypts Tetra traffic by means of one of 4 proprietary stream ciphers: TEA1, TEA2, TEA3, and TEA4. Of these ciphers, TEA1 can be exported globally with appropriate export approval and can be used by both commercial and government parties. As such, TEA1 is used to protect select law enforcement, military and private security radio communications, as well as SCADA radio links of global critical infrastructure. Tetra is used in many different sectors, ranging from electrical and water utilities to oil and gas, transport, and mining. Since the Tetra encryption algorithms have been kept secret for over 20 years, their security has never been properly publicly evaluated until now. Midnight Blue researchers have reverse engineered the algorithms and uncovered several vulnerabilities in Tetra, including a backdoor in the TEA1 algorithm, which reduces its advertised key strength of 80 bits to a mere 32 bits. This backdoor, which has festered in global critical infrastructure for decades, enables the interception and manipulation of TEA1 protected Tetra communications from anywhere within cell tower coverage, which may be up to tens of kilometers. Due to the simplicity of the backdoor, even attackers with limited resources, such as a $10 radio dongle, can crack TEA1 keys in a matter of minutes. In this demonstration, carried out on a real network, the attacker captures traffic and identifies messages on which to mount the attack. Now, the attacker computes the key used on this frequency. This will take about a minute. Once the key has been cracked, voice communications can be intercepted while the attack remains fully undetected, or data can be actively injected.
This should have been confidential.
In the case of SCADA telecontrol communications being carried over Tetra-wide area networks, attackers could use this vulnerability to obtain direct access deep within the operational technology networks of critical infrastructure, allowing them to intercept and manipulate network traffic controlling equipment like switchgear, circuit breakers, and valves at electrical substations or oil and gas pipelines. Due to the highly sensitive nature of the uncovered issues, Midnight Blue has spent more than 1.5 years in a carefully coordinated disclosure process with multiple government and industry stakeholders, guided by the Dutch government's National Cybersecurity Center. During this process, detailed advisories and mitigation guidelines were distributed through the NCSC in order to enable stakeholders in taking appropriate defensive mitigations. Visit midnightblue.nl to learn more about our specialist security consultancy firm and the team who uncovered the Tetra burst vulnerabilities first, and tetraburst.com to learn more about the vulnerabilities discovered in Tetra.
All right, so I think we're all up to speed now. Then I'm going to give a second demo, and that one won't be as shiny and nice. So besides the TA1 backdoor, we found another issue that works regardless of which cipher you're using. So this includes police and military forces, intelligence and whatnot. And we actually developed a proof of concept for this one, which I'll present to you in this video. But in the interest of time, I'll skip over the technical details and I'll refer to the paper instead. So there we go.
We are Midnight Blue. We have uncovered several serious vulnerabilities in the Tetra radio standard, .Tetra burst. We will first demonstrate a decryption oracle attack to recover a text message, but the attack can also be applied to voice communication and data. The demonstration takes place on our lab setup. The radio receives an encrypted message, which is also captured by the attacker. We see the message says secret. The attacker now needs to target a radio and impersonate the infrastructure and carry out the attack to decrypt the previously captured message. We have sped up this process. The attacker has now recovered all he needs to decrypt the message. This attack applies to all Tetra configurations, but can be resolved with a firmware update. Further details will be disclosed on August 9th.
All right, so I'll just add that it concerns an active attack, not a passive one, and it's not real time, so it's a bit less practical than the one on TA1, but still practical nonetheless. So as an attacker, in return, you get that you can actually listen in on police and military forces with this one, so it's kind of a big deal. All right, with that, here's a diagram of one of the TA keystream generators, which is used for air interface encryption. They all have a similar structure consisting of several linear feedback shift registers, some nonlinear functions, and S boxes. The picture, you can see TA2, which is used by European law enforcement, and it seems pretty robust to us, but then again, we're not professional cryptographers. So I'm inviting you all to take a look at it. You can find a link to the C implementation of the algorithm in the paper. Perhaps more interesting is the TA3 algorithm, which is intended for public safety in non-European countries. But nonetheless have friendly relationships with the EU. It didn't seem trivially weak to us, but it has a very suspicious quirk in the sense that the S box is not a permutation. There's actually two values mapping to the same value. And what's more is that if you flip one bit in one of these values, it's a permutation again, and its properties of the S box, they align again with the other TIAs. And on top of that, there's clear consequences that come from this issue. And on top of that, they hide those issues by adding some structural changes. In this particular example, they mix in the byte that gets shifted out of the key register back into this S box output, and therefore it's sort of hidden away. So we don't really know what the consequences are. We weren't able to get anywhere close to a practical attack. So therefore, we're very excited to share these ciphers with all of you today. In any case, this is highly unusual, and it's certainly not designed to be a positive. It's also unlikely to be accidental because there would be massive vendor incompatibilities, so we're quite sure that this is the way it's supposed to be. Again, the impact is unclear to us, so hope this will be cleared up in the near future. Right, finally, there's the anonymization scheme, which works by deriving an intermediary secret C, which we call C because we don't know, from this master secret CCK using the hurdle block cipher. The hurdle is also released by us, so you can take a look at it. The intermediate secret C is used in a custom transformation scheme based over the subscriber identity, and you can see on the right side of the slide is basically XORed in some bits from this key, and applies some input, and then applies some more key bits, etc., etc. The problem is that it's vulnerable to a box standard meet-in-the-middle attack. So in this way, we can efficiently recover C, which is nice because you can then de-anonymize all Tetra users basically instantly and passively. What's more is that this gives you a direct exposure to a hurdle output. So they've carefully designed the protocol such that you cannot directly get an input-output pair from the hurdle cipher. So even if it's terribly broken, there's not so much you can do with it. And in this particular example, gets you like the actual hurdle output from a hurdle encryption. So it's nice to see, and I would like to invite you all to take a look at it. So if this breaks, if you can manage to get if you can manage to recover CCK from C, then that would terribly break Tetra as a whole, because this is part of the protocol and it cannot be changed. So you have to break compatibility with the protocol. So unfortunately, at this time, we agreed with stakeholders to not publicly disclose this transformation from CCK to C. So if you'd like to take a look at this, talk to us privately and we'll happily hand it over as long as you don't disclose it. So in conclusion, we presented the first public Tetra security analysis in more than 20 years. We reverse engineered cryptographic algorithms uncovered multiple vulnerabilities. This is just a selection. Multiple vulnerabilities in the standard, and both the standard and the equipment itself, including a backdoor. The findings affect more than 100 countries, and different sectors have multiple implications for voice data and SCADA communications. And patches are available for some of the issues, and while mitigations are necessary for others. So finally, I'd like to end with a call to action. We've opened up Tetra for further review, and there's still much to be looked into. First of all, we'd like people to take a closer look at the TIAs, especially Tier 3 S-Box. We'd also like people to dig into Hurdle, because an attack on it would be catastrophic for Tetra as a whole. And on the whole other area, like hunting for protocol level flaws, fuzzing Tetra stacks, the protocol, etc., and extending the open stacks that exist. So, for example, Osmocom Tetra and SQ5 BPF. There's still lots of work to do in those projects. And if you want to do so, you can talk to NLNet, which those are the guys who kindly provided us with some money in order to do this research, and Osmocom, and they'll be happy to assist you with that. And finally, I don't think I have to remind anyone here that please stop using proprietary crypto. It's bad, and you end up with like technology spread around the world with millions of users with fundamental issues. Okay, that's that. You can check out the paper and research material, including ciphers on tetraburst.com. And for more details on how we exploited the radio and base station, we'd like to invite you to read the paper or watch our DEF CON talk on Sunday. And if there's any questions, I'd like to take them now.